Hey guys, happy Tuesday evening. So wanted to talk to you tonight about hindsight. We have all heard that hindsight is 2020, and we all take a look at that, I'm sure, in our life, in relationships and other aspects. But what I'm talking about tonight is hindsight being 2020 in your business. So when we're talking business and we're talking business finances and we're looking at these things, what I've discovered and what I like to work with people on is the fact that in our business we have historical data. We have numbers, we have income, we have expenses, we have cost of goods, we have all of this historical data in our business. But we need to be pulling that historical data forward and using it to predict our future as well in our business. Taking this historical data and analyzing it and looking at it and figuring out what are my revenues, what is my season, where do I peak, where do I have valleys in my revenues, where do my expenses peak, where do I have valleys in my expenses, and looking at all of these, taking this and creating a budget for moving forward and predicting your future in your business. By using our hindsight with our numbers and taking these things, the easiest way to do this is to take out your numbers from last year. And right now we're at the beginning of 2019. This is a great time to do it. Pull up all of your 2018 numbers, sit down and spend some time with them. Put it out on a spreadsheet and figure out on a month-by-month basis what your revenues were. Figure out what your cost of goods were on a month-by-month basis. Figure out what your expenses were on a month-by-month basis, and figure this out and go month to month to month. Then take these numbers and look at your projected growth. If you've been in business for a couple of years, look at 17 to 18's projected growth. Figure out, or not projected growth, but historical growth between those 2 years. Take a look at these things and figure out where you're growing, and then take all of the stuff that you did in 2018 to continue to grow your business, and let's lay it out for 2019 and use this historical data to predict where we're going this year. By taking this historical data and by taking what we've learned, what we've grown with, what we're implementing that is new this year, by taking all of that information and predicting out your 2019 numbers, it makes it really easy for you to strategically predict your growth this year and to predict your profits for this year. So you take those and you look at, so we're in January, we're halfway through January now, there's 350 days of the there's 350 days of the year left, guys, that will allow you to really take this and project it out and really hit your financial goals this year. So by taking this historical data and bringing it into the current, so let's say you're looking at January for 2018, and let's say you have a business that is seasonal and January is one of your better months, or maybe it's one of your worst months. Regardless, take that information and look at it and figure out what you want to do with that in 2019 and lay out a predicted budget for 2019. Your budget is not just expenses. You need to include your revenues in there. And so go through your expenses. The reason I have you do this on a month-by-month basis is, as business owners, we all have ebbs and flows in our business. There's always going to be that 1 or 2 months where things just slow down for you historically. There's always going to be those 1 or 2 months in business where you have a lot of expenses crammed into a month. This may be insurance renewals, this may be license renewals, this may be lease agreements, anything like this where you have an influx of expenses in a month. You need to look back at historical data and figure out where these are so that you can predict those. Strategically, if you're looking at your numbers this way, then when you know that you have a month with high expenses, you know that if that's a slower month for you, that you need to really ramp things up in the month prior in order to cover those expenses and not be dipping into reserves and savings and not dipping into your profits on this. So take those numbers and run them that way. By doing this, this is step 1 in reverse engineering your profits, guys. By doing this and implementing this, you can actually start to look at what you have to make to get to where you want to be for 2019. And that really is the goal for all of us. We want to be able to take what we know, take what we've done, take where we're at, and look at where we're going and be able to predict it. And that's how you do this, is by sitting down and working within a budget. A budget, guys, I want to leave you on this last little fact here. A budget is not a once and done document. It's just not. A budget is what I refer to as a living and breathing document. It constantly has to be updated and tweaked and maneuvered around what is actually going on in real life. For example, right now we are in the middle of one of the longest government, we're in the middle of the longest government shutdown that we've ever seen historically. And because of that, if businesses rely on the government to be operating in order to operate their business, and you laid out a budget in December or November for 2019, your budget may already be blown because of everything going on at the government level that is out of your control. And so if that's the case, now is the time to get strategic with how are we going to make shifts within that budget to cover those things. How are we going to bring in revenues from a different source? How are we going to shift expenses out so that we're not putting ourselves in the hole? How are we looking at these things? So this is why a budget's a living and breathing document. You really have to be taking a look at it on an ongoing basis, at minimum once a month. Everybody, thanks for jumping on. I so appreciate you hopping on here. Take a look at it at minimum once a month, and you have to adjust it according to reality at that point. So really, you should have a predicted budget, and then you should have an actual, and you should be able to compare the two side by side to see where you're projecting to go and where you're at, to see if you are over, under, or what you need to change to actually get it. If you are significantly over in income and right on in expenses, then you need to change your year-end goal and you need to adjust things to have a bigger goal. If you're over in expenses, you need to figure out why, and you need to adjust things to make sure that you're getting to a point where you're within those budget or within those expenses. So this budget document, guys, it's not a once and done. It is a living, breathing document that you have to continue to work in. You have to continue to tweak and change. It really should not be something that you either put on a piece of paper and drop in the filing cabinet, or something that you put on a spreadsheet and then it gets saved on your computer and never opened again. It really needs to go into your CEO time and be something that you're working on continuously in your business. That is really the only way that you are going to engineer profits in your business, guys. And we're all in business to be profitable. We are all in business because, well, I can't say we all. I'm in business because I really hate to work for other people in the scope of being an employee. I'm just not a good employee. I know that about myself. And so in order to continue to thrive, I have to operate on a budget of revenue and expenses to predict where I'm going. Otherwise, your business is going to go stagnant and you're going to be sitting in a place where you're just not growing. We have to be growing in business, guys. That's the goal for all of us. So if you have questions about your budget, if you need help with it, if you don't understand how to do one, reach out to me. I would love to walk through and answer a couple questions with you on a budget. I really would. I love numbers. I'm a math geek. So everybody have a great Tuesday evening, and I will see you guys here soon.